before the arenas, before the awards.
This is b4Nashville Live. Have a question for our guest? Send it to us via Messenger.
Here's your host, George Davis.
That's right. It's Before Nashville, where we introduce the country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today. And if you do have a question, you can always send it to us via Facebook Messenger. So be sure to hop over on our Facebook page and check it out because we are live tonight. Joining me tonight, this young lady has opened up for Brad Paisley, Keith Urban, Richard Marx, Montgomery Gentry, Lone Star, the Allman Betts Band, Phil Vassar, Jody Messina, ZZ Top, and Loretta Lynn. I had to take a breath in there. Good grief. That's a long list on your resume there. And it is Jessica Lynn. Jessica, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. And we got a lot to talk about because I'm super excited. I saw a couple of things on Instagram today that I wanted to hit on. But the first thing I want to ask you about is kind of Jessica as a child. You know, when was the first time that you performed on stage?
Oh, man. I always knew. People always ask, when was the moment you knew you wanted to be a singer? And for me, there was never a moment. It was just all I ever did. And so the first time I ever really performed on stage, which was kind of the moment that I knew I really wanted to do it professionally, I guess you could say, was in the second grade. I was cast as Dorothy in my school play of The Wizard of Oz. And at the end of the play, I got to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow and finish the play. And I remember being so happy in that moment, singing that song. And I remember the applause lasting for a really, really long time. And when I went back to the dressing room, which was one of my classrooms, to take off my little ruby red slippers, I remember, and I wish to this day I remembered who it was. But one of the fathers of one of the other kids came up to me and said, "You're going to really do something. You have it, kid." And I always remembered that. And that was a big moment for me.
That's pretty awesome. So moving forward from there, what was the next step for you as far as your career in music went?
So being a New Yorker, I started a rock and roll band when I was 13 years old. I was playing already at 13 all over New York City's nightclub scene, places that I wasn't even allowed into, with my high school band. We were very much No Doubt-like. But I always loved country music. Always, always. My dad was a huge country music fan, and he'd always have it on. Every car ride was George Strait or Phil Vassar. My earliest memory of music was Glenn Campbell's Rhinestone Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, you know, it was kind of like the natural path for me to do this rock and roll band. And I did love it. I love rock and roll is a big part of who I am and what I do too. So really, that's kind of how my path started. I got tired of the band thing after a bunch of opportunities were ruined for me by other people because they were just kids. And I was always a very mature-minded person that knew this is my career. Like, no, we're not going to go to this party on Friday. I got to stay home and write. Let's have band practice. Like, that was always my mentality. And they just didn't have it. And you can't blame them. I mean, we're 16 years old. And right. A few deals and things came to the table that we never wound up being able to take because of the other kids in the band. And when I was 18, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be a solo artist because if anybody's ever going to screw this up for me again, I want it to only be me. And I want to have no regrets. My heart told me to do country music with the cheapest, most low budget we had. We decided to film a television special. I went to my dad, who's my bass player. He's also my manager. And I said, let's do a country music demo. And he said, everybody does a demo. Like, you're different. Let's try something different, out of the box. How about TV? And I have to say, I fought him so hard. Like, who is ever going to air a television special by some unknown person? Like, here you go, air this hour-long concert series special. And it went nationwide.
Wow.
On PBS. And that is honestly how my whole career started. It still blows my mind that it worked. I don't know how we got it to air.
So do you have the video of it and you go back and watch it from time to time?
Oh yeah, we have it on DVD. Amazon Prime actually picked up the most recent two, so they're available worldwide there now. And yeah, all the time. It's a very special, and it aired in almost every single state. It really got some amazing legs, that show.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's it's definitely thinking out of the box. That's a far cry from the old days of going down Music Row and knocking on the door of a office and handing them a cassette tape, you know.
Yeah.
So who were some of your influences early on? Because you said you loved country music since you could, you know, but I mean you had to do the rock and roll thing, but
I have so many different influences, and again, I think it's due to being a New Yorker. Some of my biggest influences actually are not in country music. They're the Beach Boys, the Temptations. Richard Marx was actually one of my favorite singer-songwriters of all time, which it was so cool to play with him. But on the countryside, I was a very big Blake Shelton fan. Austin is one of the songs that really made me fall in love with the stories of country music. And I remember that song really changing my life. And Shania Twain, as a New Yorker, when I heard her music, it was like, wow, like this is country, but it's pop and it's rock and it's all these cool things together like I am. And it really gave me inspiration, you know, that you could do country if you want to. It doesn't have to sound just like everybody else. You don't have to look just like everybody else. And lastly, I'd say Phil Vassar is my third biggest country music influence. He was just so cool. His songs are so good, an incredible musician and songwriter. And it was very cool to get to play with him too. I have 2 out of my 3 on my play with bucket list crossed off so far. So I feel very lucky.
that's awesome. I've met Phil and had a lunch with him one time. We had him for a show when I was at a radio station, and we sat down and had lunch together, and it was a very interesting conversation because, you know, most of the time you think these people are maybe a little, I don't know, but some may think they're a little better than everybody else, but we were talking about his daughter playing softball and our daughter played softball, and we were just comparing notes and stuff like that. So it was a really cool lunch, really cool conversation. So that's pretty awesome. He's a great guy.
He is. He is one of the nicest people we've ever met. We played with him, and then a year later, he came back to the same venue. Didn't use an opener for that show, and he invited us backstage to hang out, and such nice people.
Oh yeah, very, very. So as you're going toward the music and you've got the TV show out there, what became of the show? I mean, what came out of the show? Did you start getting a lot of calls to do, you know, concerts, or was it labels calling, or how did that work out?
So we filmed the show in 2012, but it hit the air in 2014. And then that summer, we started getting all calls for all big music festivals. I went on tour with Jody Messina shortly after that. We did some 3 major festivals. The Taste of Country Town Square Media Festival. So we did that in New York, Colorado. They booked us for all their major fests on main stage. And ever since then, it's kind of been a whirlwind. We toured solely on the television specials up until 2016 was actually the first recorded and not live music that I ever put out. So it's been a very unique journey, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So was the TV special, was it songs that you had written? Was it, you know, cover songs of your influences and your favorite artists? You know, what kind of content did it have, I guess is the best way to put that.
It was an hour-long special of all my original material. And because it did so well with the network, we wound up doing 2 more. So we have 3 full-length concert television specials of all my original stuff that all went nationwide on public television.
Wow, that's awesome. And you've gotten, since then you've recorded music. You've got at the last count that I've read about, 11 charting singles in 11 countries.
Yeah, and iTunes. Honestly, that blew my mind because I never knew about this. And about a year ago, we brought somebody onto my team that was like, "Have you ever checked your iTunes chart history?" I was like, "No, I never even thought about it. I didn't even know you could do that." And when we saw the numbers, we're like, "Oh my gosh, this is truly amazing." I do travel around the world. Since 2016,
Right.
we've toured in 14 plus countries. Every summer
Wow.
since then, we've spent about 2 months in Europe alone at a time. So for me, it was so cool to see that type of support from all these different places we've been to, and it really meant a lot to me.
So, what's your favorite country to perform in?
Oh, that's so hard to pick because they're all so different. You know, some places have the most amazing scenery, and other places have the most amazing food, or somewhere else would have the best stage and lighting. But I have to say, one of my favorite places is Germany.
Hmm.
They just love live music. Like you go to a little club there and they have the full like pyrotechnics and like crazy lighting and stuff on the stage because they just appreciate live music so much. And one of my favorite gigs we've ever done has been there too. We're going back next year, actually, the Grand Prix of Germany. We've played it twice already, and it's like 30,000 people, and it's such an incredible, for the first song, the first beat, everybody is just so into the atmosphere, and that's what I love about Germany. Uh-oh, you're frozen. Is this my own podcast now? I guess he had tech issues. Hey, everybody that's here. Maybe I should check the chat. Hey, guys. He did freeze up. That's okay. We'll wait for him to come back. Otherwise, I better start singing, right? As I know you guys all too, everyone watching, loved my dog, Audrey, my rescue dog. We got her in the pandemic, a little over a year. There she is sleeping behind me. Whoop, this side. She doesn't like to be very far away ever. But she had a long day. It was 90 plus degrees here in New York today. It was so hot. We had a long outdoor rehearsal. She was with us the whole time. So she's really, really tired. And of course, has to be part of the podcast. Let's hope he can get back in. So he froze for you guys too, right? It's not just me. Hey, Brian. He must be having some maybe internet issues. You've never seen it happen? It's okay. Stuff happens. I've learned from touring over the years that anything can happen at any time. We have literally had speakers blow up like while we were on stage, or we blew out the generator from using too much power. We went to this one place, I'll never forget it, in Montana. I won't say the name, but we show up and we keep sound checking, and they're telling us, I keep saying, I can't hear in my monitors. And and they're like, oh no, yeah, I'm turning you up. Meanwhile, their sound system was blown and they didn't want to tell us or upset us. So we sound checked for 3 hours and got nowhere because the system actually didn't function. So literally like 10 minutes before showtime, we had to sit on the edge of the stage, totally unplugged, not prepared at all, and just sing and play. Literally totally unplugged. We actually wound up giving people in the audience like tambourine and things like that to play along with us. It seemed like you were just hanging out with friends. It was really, really I look back and it was a fun night, but then, I mean, it was so stressful. Like we didn't know what to do, or so. I mean, you just gotta roll with the punches sometimes. Hey, Brian. I know I recognize your name. Well, I hope you can get back in. Otherwise, what should I chat about on my own podcast? I'll keep checking your chat. Any questions? It is the best sometimes. It really is. Anyone have any questions we could talk about? Or I could keep telling tour stories. That actually happened to us twice, where the sound system just didn't function. And we literally had to figure it out on the spot. It was very, very stressful. One time in Ohio, and a time in Montana. I mean, we've had crazy weather things where like the canopy on the stage, like, I don't want to say collapsed, but there were rips and things in it. So we were playing and it starts to storm, and all of a sudden we're just getting soaked. The water is flying through this canopy. Our instruments are trying to cover them. That's happened a bunch of times with bad storms and things like that. We've been touring since 2014, so you experience a lot of things, many of which you never have wished to experience or never want to experience ever again. Let's see. When did I write Run To?
Well, we had some technical problems there, and we're trying to get them all lined out. So I apologize. I will tell you this: Go-Go Tuners is being powered, or before Nashville is being powered by Go-Go Tuners. It's a go-to tuners for professional and amateur musicians alike. Super easy to use. They've got a green you're in, red you're out technology where you can tell when exactly your strings are in tune, and it works really well. So be sure to check them out at gogotuners.com. Again, had some issues there. Don't quite know what happened, but something went haywire. And hopefully Jessica's going to come back on here in just a second. We're waiting on her. And it appears to have been something on my end. So I'm not going to fault her for that. But also in the meantime, let me tell you about something that I'm a part of, which is Freedom Jam 2021. We have an organization called Operation Triage that we do concerts to help benefit. And you can go to operationtriage.org and find out more about them. And also you can go to Eventbrite and search for Freedom Jam 2021. We have a show in St. Louis, and we also have a show in Poplar Bluff, Missouri this year at the camp. And I'll tell you some more about that. Jessica's back on. So let's talk to her real quick.
What happened? You froze?
And something just froze up everything. And so
I told stories while you were gone.
Oh, well, good. At least you I thank you for covering for me. Maybe I need to hire you to do that, just kind of a side job.
I was like, the show must go on. I told stories about all the times and the tech issues we've had on the road and like really awful stuff. Stuff happens. It just does.
It does. Computers were made to make your life easier, but I think that was just a ploy that Apple put in place for us all to go out and buy. So
I agree.
It's like not true at all. But anyway, we were discussing some things about you. Now I'm not quite sure where we were because I was kind of in a frantic panic there. But you are an advocate. I was talking about a concert series that I'm a part of called Freedom Jam that benefits Operation Triage. And military charities are one of your big passions. They
are. The military and animals are my two big passions aside from music. Yeah, my father, he's not in the military, but he's a serviceman, I would say. He's a police officer. And I just grew up always having the most respect for these people that lay their lives on the line every day so that I can sit here and sing and do the things that I love to do. And one of my favorite phrases is freedom isn't free. It's really not. And I truly recognize that and appreciate it. And anything I can ever do over the years, oh my gosh, I've done so much since I started my career, probably about 2014. I've done honor flight, which is an incredible thing. It was truly emotional being there. I've worked with equine therapy for veterans. I've done sending boxes overseas to the troops. You name it, I've probably done it. I do a huge concert, a Christmas concert for Toys for Tots every year. That's become their biggest single fundraiser of the season. My chapter, Toys for Tots, we got about 2,000 toys the last concert in a single night. So it's a very big passion of mine. And thank you to anybody watching that has served or is serving. You are so appreciated by so many.
Well, and I have to say, because we have a couple of things in common with what you said. My son has served as a police officer, and he's in nursing now, but he's still an auxiliary police officer, and was attending SWAT training. I don't know how far he got with that or anything, but he's an auxiliary. And then I have also worked with the Freedom Flights. A couple of different times I've worked with those. It's not Freedom Flight. But I've emceed those a couple of times where I was at before. Honor flights, what it is. I'll get it out in a minute. But I've got like all kinds of messages going on over here, and it's like,
I'm sure.
What in the world's going on here?
It's okay, everybody. It's live show business. This stuff happens. He'll be okay. At least the AC's cranking, so you're not sweating too much.
Exactly. I beginning to think I should have grabbed the parka.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Did we go again? What in the world?
Yeah, you did. I'm still moving the whole time. Oh, you're back. It's only you that freezes, though. Everything else keeps going.
I text my wife and said I'm having an internet issue, and she's on Zoom, and we stream our TVs, and I think 2 of the TVs are on. So I'm beginning to think my bandwidth is like running out.
Oh, well, she better be watching something good up there.
Either that or it's very thick and cold is why I'm freezing up. I tell you what, before we freeze again, hopefully, let's go ahead and your latest song is called Roadhouse, and this was one that you just released, and it's a great song, and we're going to play that real quick. I'm watching my internet meter here, and it's showing me I'm doing pretty good, so hopefully it'll hang with us. But we're going to play Roadhouse. This is Jessica Lynn on b4Nashville, brought to you by Go-Go Tuners.
It's 10 o'clock, I'm making my way to the front door. It's a Friday night and things are feeling right. But I've been waiting all week just to have a good time. So get ready to ride, 'cause I'm here tonight. Let's turn this place into a roadhouse. Let's get those girls up on the bar. Let's start up that dirty dancing. Turn those lights down after dark. Let's turn up that country music. Clear those tables off the floor. And turn this place into a roadhouse. Rock and roll and rowdy fun. It's 1 o'clock, the party's still just getting started. And we ain't stopping till the sun comes knocking. So until the morning comes, let's get down and drink up. So bartender, right here, won't you fill up my cup? Into a roadhouse. Let's get those girls up on the bar. Let's start up that dirty dancing. And turn those lights down after dark. Let's turn up that country music. Clear those tables off the floor. And turn this place into a roadhouse. Rock and roll and round your bar. Come on. Let's turn this place into a roadhouse. Let's get those girls up on the bar. Let's start up that dirty dancing. And turn those lights down after dark. Let's turn up that country music. Clear those tables off the floor. And turn this place into a roadhouse. Rock and roll it, rock and roll it, rock and roll it, rowdy fun. Yeah.
Well, if the show freezing up doesn't get your blood pumping, that definitely did. That's Jessica Lynn, and her latest is called Roadhouse. Tell me about the song. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I can see a lot of line dancing going on to that song. A lot of people just tearing up the dance floor with that one because it sounds like it's a good time.
Thanks. So that song was debuted in my second television special back in 2015. And ever since then, it's been a fan favorite, but we never recorded it as a single. It was just the live version that went with the TV show. So I actually decided to put it out, one, because I always loved that song. And two, in this pandemic, my fans were so incredible to me. Like, I cannot tell you, it was a very hard year. All of a sudden, I mean, I know so many people know what I'm talking about. Everything you know and love is just stripped from you. I lost 100 dates in 14 different countries. And last year, and as well as this year, it's pushed to next year, but it was very hard. And I get emotional talking about it, but I can't tell you, when I announced that the tour was canceled, how many people purchased like huge merch orders through my website to support me and keep me going. People that I knew already had that CD, or merch. And it brought tears to my eyes. So when I was thinking about music to put out this year, I said, let's do something they've always wanted. Let's do something special for them as a thank you. So that's how Roadhouse came about. And I saw Brian was asking. I actually didn't play guitar on this track. Normally I do play, but there's a lot of cool chicken picking stuff going on with my lead guitarist as well as my pedal steel guitarist. So we didn't want to muddy it up with too many guitar tracks. And sometimes less is more in certain songs, but I am playing the harmonica on the track.
Wow. And you're kind of a multi-instrumentalist, if I understand correctly. There's not a whole lot that you don't play.
I was classically trained on the piano as a kid, so that was my first and main instrument. And then I actually learned the guitar when I started that band at 13, because we didn't have a rhythm guitarist, and I wanted there to be guitar in the songs I was writing. So I learned guitar specifically for that. I actually started on bass and then switched to guitar. And then I taught myself drums shortly after that, because I wanted, as a songwriter, I felt so frustrated at that age. Like, I was telling the drummer, like, this is what I want. And they're like, I don't know. And they're playing something. It's not quite what I was hearing in my head. So I literally learned the drums so that I could just sit behind the kit and be like, this is what I want in this song. And it's been such an asset to have that knowledge of all of these different instruments and voices when I'm composing the music.
Right. Have you ever gotten so frustrated in that situation that you just tell your drummer, step out of the way and I'll just...
I wouldn't say frustrated, more just like sometimes you can't find the right words to describe what you hear in your head. When I write music or songs, I literally hear the entire thing completed in my head. I never write like a lyric and then the music comes later. I mean, when I'm going, it's literally everything at once. I hear the drums, I hear the strings, I hear everything as I go the entire time. So for me, sometimes it can be hard to voice that. It's a lot easier to just play it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it is that way sometimes. I've got some messages coming through here I'm going to share with you real quick. If they slowly fade in, good grief. This is not going to be a good night, I'm afraid. We've got our friend Sarah Faith on. Sarah has jumped on. She's an artist out of Nashville who just got a new pony the other day. And
a pony?
I thought I would. Yeah, her husband Ryan surprised her with a pony. It was kind of cool. Aww. And then he built a it wasn't I guess it was like a pole barn.
Yeah.
And he's a golfer. He's just a jack of all trades and a master at golf. So
wow, that's so nice. I would love a pony. I love animals.
And that was something I was going to talk to you about, because I saw somewhere where someone had asked you about taking your dog on tour, and I understand why they asked, but I want you to share why they asked that question.
Uh, so during the pandemic, I talked a little bit about her when you had disappeared, but
Okay.
I'll go into more depth. So during the pandemic, I saw a post, and this is kind of when COVID first came around, and we really weren't
Mhm.
sure what was happening with my big tour and all this stuff. And I'm a big believer that every person crosses your path for a reason, right when they're supposed to. And I had just done an interview like 2 days before this with a brand new company that was local to me. And I don't follow any animal rescue pages. Well, I never did, because I'm as such an animal lover, the stuff that I would see really would affect me negatively. And so that's why I didn't follow it. So this person that I just happened to do an interview with shares or reposts one of the local rescues posts and says, please, this very, very injured dog really needs a home, and very disabled dog. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing this dog's face everywhere. Like, friends were reposting this dog because she was so hurt that she needed a home. She couldn't go to the shelter or their center. And I said to my husband, like, I don't know, I feel like I need to take this dog. And he was like, you're crazy. We're about to leave for 6 months. Like, you can't take a dog. I was like, well, with COVID, like, we don't know what's going to happen. And let's just do it, just a foster to help. So Audrey, she was found abandoned in a house in Texas, left to die with both her back feet severed and a back injury. And so she's very disabled. She's in a wheelchair and a diaper. And long story short, that short foster never left. She's actually right behind me on the couch.
I see her lean back there once in a while. She'd
Yeah.
move around, and she caught me a while ago when she moved.
Yeah, she's tired. She was outside all day with us at rehearsal in 90-degree heat, and she's enjoying the air conditioner right now. But she's such a wonderful dog. I mean, she taught me so much about resilience and the way she trusts people and loves people after everything she went through, and how she wakes up every day, even when we were still seriously healing her with big gaping open wounds and infections. And she woke up every day with a smile on her face and ready to conquer whatever. And for me, that I feel like I really needed that lesson, and we were going through this really hard time in my life. Wow, like, if she can do it, if she can wake up and be positive and just move ahead, I can do that too. And instead of waking up depressed every day, like, what's going to cancel now? How much money are we going to lose today? It was like I was taking care of this being that really needed me, and it gave me such purpose. And so we're very, very attached. We're attached at the hip because for over a year, she's been bedridden. So she has never been alone for my husband or I, ever. So we said, how can we leave her now? This is what no fault of hers, no fault of ours. It's just what the situation is, that she's my shadow. And so we got to take her on tour. And so she will be coming. She has her little rhinestone earmuffs to match my in-ear monitors. And she's got her little personal fan and air conditioner and pop-up tent and the whole shebang. So she'll be on tour with us.
She sounds like she's a very well-deserving spoiled dog.
She is. After what she went through, like, she can have anything she wants. She gets burgers, salmon fillets. I cook for her most of the time. She deserves the world after the abuse that she suffered.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, we have 2 dogs. One of them is our daughter's, and it's a corgi. But the other dog that we have was originally our daughter's dog, but now mom and dad have it. And she's 45 pounds, and she was thrown out of a truck at 40 miles an hour. And the people behind the vehicle that threw her out saw it, stopped and picked her up. Thank goodness there was no injuries.
Oh, wow. How lucky.
No breaks or anything. And they took her to the Humane Society, and my wife and daughter had gone to drop off some blankets to, for the dogs, for the kennels, so they'd be warm and stuff. And I get a picture at work that says, yes, this just happened. So,
Oh my God. That's so great. That's so amazing. People can be so terrible. I can never wrap my head around that ever.
She's
So
she's
good.
5 now, and she has an absolute personality of her own.
Oh, animals are the best. They really are.
They are. We really love our Evie. She's and we love Charlie too, the corgi. I mean, she's just a little rowdy at times, which both of them are, I guess, But kind of switching gears here, I wanted to go back to the music for a minute because I'm looking at your Spotify now. I never know if these numbers are correct or not because I don't know if Spotify really updates them like they should, but like Roadhouse right now is sitting at almost 40,000 streams, which is, and you released that when?
May 14th.
Okay. And so you've got Love Me That Way, which is close to 90,000. Getaway Car, which I listened to your music coming home today from work and really like that song. It's at about 26. Almost 91,000 on Now or Never. And then Run to You, which is Brian's favorite song. I'm sure he told you that, is sitting at nearly 86,000 streams. So some really strong numbers there. I mean, your monthly streams, according to Spotify, or listeners, is I can see that little type, almost 26,000. And that's awesome. I mean, and you've got that following and the people that want to hear you and love your music, and they're showing it. And I thought when you were talking about the merch, I thought that was really cool that people started buying your merchandise, when you're not on tour to help you out. And that's a really cool thing. And one of the things I said, earlier that we were going to talk about, because you have some new merch that goes along with Roadhouse. I saw that today on Instagram.
I'm wearing it.
And there you go.
There we go.
I love that. That's awesome. I love how the Roadhouse is incorporated into this neck of the guitar.
Thank you.
That's really cool. Did you design that or have a hand in designing it?
I did. I designed it.
That was
90% of the graphics. I've learned as an independent artist, you learn to do many things.
That's what I tell a lot of them.
Oh, if I ever opened like a restaurant or a bar, I always said I would love it to be Jessica Lynn's Roadhouse. So I said, how cool would it be to do like restaurant style t-shirts, like it's a place? And it's been really a success so far. I think I probably ordered myself every item off of the website because I just love the clothes and everything. And it's been fun. Every day I'm getting a new package, like, oh, this is the water bottle today, or this is that. I want to make sure it was good,
Yeah. You don't want to sell stuff that you wouldn't put your stamp of approval on. So you got to check it out. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and well, let me get back over to where I was at, because we're going to play a little game here. It's something that we talked about earlier, and this is just a fun little game that I like to play, and this is what it's all about.
What the hell?
It's called What the Hell. It's just a fun little game, and I just asked you some goofy questions. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and some are a little off the wall. The first one, this goes back to the Tootsie Roll commercials. Do you lick or do you bite lollipops?
So you have to lick, and then if it's a Tootsie Pop, you got to bite the center.
There you go. That's a good one. What would be the absolute worst name you could ever give one of your children?
Oh my gosh. I don't want to say specifically because for me, names I have a very strong association. Like when I hear a name with people I've disliked or, had a bad experience with. So I won't say exactly what names, but it's definitely people that have put a bad taste in my mouth.
I can agree with that, though. I can agree with
right?
So what's the longest you've ever waited in line for something, and what were you waiting for?
Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever been asked this. I would have to say a ride at Disney. I mean, sometimes those are Tower of Terror is my favorite ride. And I'm pretty sure I've waited like a few hours for that.
Wow. Probably won't ask that one. That one's kind of out there. What nickname have you been called that you hate?
Oh my gosh. Crash. When I was a kid, my dad still teases me about this, that I just was not good at like riding a bicycle. I'm just clumsy. I'm still pretty clumsy. So like I've literally ran my dad over when I was a child on my bike. I've run into walls. I always had scrapes and whatever. So I was always Crash.
That is funny. What Guinness Book of World's Record do you think you could break in the future?
Oh, easy. Work. How many hours you can go working without like stopping to use the bathroom or eat or sleep. My husband, I'm a Capricorn. I'm an extreme workaholic. I literally run every ounce of my business, like so micromanaged. It's not even funny. I'm an extreme perfectionist, and I don't say that lightly. And my husband jokes that he has to take the wheelie chair, and it's not a joke because it's real, out of our office and wheel me out to like eat and do things when I really am busy and I have stuff to do. I can easily work a 16-hour work day. I've done it every day this week and like not even bat an eyelash.
Wow. I feel your pain there because I'm a Capricorn as well. So it's kind of the same thing.
When's your birthday?
I am. January 3rd.
Oh, I'm the 6th.
Oh, close. Very
close.
Know. My father-in-law is the 5th. And it's funny, like birthdays, you know. Who is?
My mom is the 2nd.
Oh, so we've got the 2nd and the 3rd and then the 5th and the 6th, but we don't have a 4th. We need to find somebody in the family's got to have a birthday on January 4th.
I know.
Now my oldest grandson is January 1st, so he's a New Year's baby. So we got that one covered too.
Oh, that's cool.
We've almost got the first week of January filled.
I know.
So here we'll finish up with this one because I love this question. I think it's kind of one of those cool ones. But have you ever eaten a whole can of Pringles, and what flavor?
Definitely sour cream and onion. I am usually very healthy. I care a lot about fitness. And for me, I'm a very active person on stage, like running back and forth. I think that's my rock and roll roots. So I work out a lot and I eat very, very healthy. I'm vegan about 90% of the time. And so when I eat bad, like when I don't have a show or a photo shoot or something, like I'm off the deep end. Like there's no stopping one can of Pringles, like maybe 4, because I know I'm never probably going to get this chance again in like several weeks to eat like this. So
go to like Sam's or Costco and you buy the big package of them and you roll them on us for, okay, we got 4 shows this week. I'm going to get 6.
Yeah, you have to. You really have to. I like Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. Those are like if I don't have a show, like my guilty pleasure to eat. Oh my gosh, so much. Bagels as a New Yorker. I could eat bagels, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day with vegetable cream cheese. That's my favorite food in the world.
Oh,
and
I love bagels with what's it called? It's kind of like a hazelnut cream cheese.
Nutella?
Oh. No, it's not Nutella. It's actually who does the big cream cheese that everybody gets?
Philadelphia?
I can't remember anything. Yes, it's Philadelphia makes a hazelnut cream cheese. It's got the actual nuts in it, I think, or
really?
Maybe it's or something. It is so delicious. So, and it comes in like these little containers. I can sit there and eat one of them in one sitting. I'm like, for goodness sake, make it bigger.
I'm going to the store tomorrow to buy that. I love anything hazelnut, and I didn't even know that existed. I've never seen that. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. It's
Oh,
like I
I
said
can't
though, it's
wait.
just the small containers. And but I mean it good stuff. I can deal with it. And since you said that you're vegan 90% of the time, I learned something today that I'll share with you. And being a New Yorker, you probably are aware of Nathan's hot dogs.
Yes, of course.
Well, they're coming out with a vegan hot dog.
Are they?
Yes.
I I I'm just a huge animal lover. I've been vegetarian for about 12 or 13 years now. And
Hmm.
at home, I don't eat dairy. But when you're out, especially when you're touring, sometimes it's really hard. I mean, we'll be in
Right.
Europe sometimes in these very small towns. And I'm not exaggerating to you. 1 week, I remember this forever, in Germany, I literally ate cheese and bread because it's the only non-meat item they had on the one restaurant in town that we were there for a week in this little
Wow.
small town. So sometimes you just have to, you got to eat what you got to eat. And I do like a little feta on my salad or something. Do you see Audrey going crazy in the she's rolling over herself. You being silly over there.
Looked like her back was itching. Our
But
corgi
yeah,
will
most
do
of the
that.
time.
She'll drop on the floor and she'll roll on her back, but she wants you to rub her back
Yeah,
or to
that's what
rub her
she's
belly.
probably,
And
she's giving me hints.
yeah, and she's got the cats doing it now. This is so funny because we have two cats, and they come in from home or from work tonight, walk in the door, and one of our cats is not very vocal. You know, she doesn't meow very much. And she starts meowing as soon as she sees me, and I walk over to the table, and she just drops and rolls over, and I'm like, "Good grief, you're worse than Charlie."
How cute.
But
Oh my gosh.
we're huge animal lovers here, and every once in a while, that's why I have to shut the door to the studio because every once in a while, like we have another cat that comes through, and his name's Louie, and he's a long-haired, a lilac Persian is what they call him,
Wow.
and he's a a very pretty cat, and so he likes to get up in my lap, and as I'm doing stuff, and then he'll get up on the
Oh,
desk and then he'll get up on the camera and put his paws on top of it. And thank goodness he's never done that while it's on.
oh my
So,
gosh, that is too
uh,
funny. They are so, and they
but
know exactly what they're doing.
oh yeah, yeah. I call him my executive producer. He's what I call the pod cat.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But he's a character. So tell me about what you got going on. You've got the new album out. I know you're doing some podcasts. I saw you were on another one earlier today. You've done some others. Touring in the works.
We have limited dates for this year, but I'm okay with it.
Mhm.
I've since come to peace, with the situation. And for me, I don't want to rush and do things at limited capacities or whatever. I'd rather wait a little bit longer and then really come out full force. So we have some really good outdoor festivals and things this year. I've been doing a lot of live streaming. I was so incredibly grateful, and never in a million years did I ever think that when I started live streaming during the pandemic that I would be named a top 40 live streamer of the year by Polestar. Oh, hey, Skip, my business partner. Uh, I
I
mean, it's
love
been
Skip.
incredible. Oh, he's the best.
He's such a
Hey,
good curds
um,
and coffee.
I, I could tell you about that later. Or ask Skip. I want to hear Skip explain it.
Yeah,
So I've been doing
Skip
a
and I
lot.
have talked back and forth about coming on each other's podcasts, and so I've got some stuff I can ask him now because I get a lot
You
of people
should.
that have been on there, and they give me the 411 on you, Skip. So you better watch it, buddy.
Yeah. Uh, so a lot of live streaming. The past 2 weeks, I've charted in the top 10 live streams on the internet by Polestar, which is incredible. I literally never in a
Wow.
million years did I think like 60,000+ people a week would be watching me play my guitar in my living room. It's just insane. And so
Wow.
grateful. Yeah, we do have a new album. My debut album after all these years, which was birthed in the pandemic unexpectedly.
Mhm.
It's actually not out yet. We're waiting for just the right time to release it. It's been up for a special pre-order campaign through my website. And
Wow.
touring, big tour next year. The whole tour is actually expanded to over 15 countries at this point. And so a
Wow.
lot of exciting stuff. A lot of exciting stuff in the works. Some new singles coming out. I've been all week in the studio. Music video for Roadhouse will be dropped soon. So I've been a very busy girl.
It sounds like it. You have been. So, and I think the streaming thing, that's pretty awesome. I mean, you're hitting the top of Polestar and people are really, of course you got a lot of followers. And the cool thing is that followers turn into more followers because they tell people, hey, check out Jessica Lynn, things like that, to where you gain more followers, which equates into more fans. And that's always awesome.
They're honestly the best. I'm not just saying that because they're my fans. I mean, people that have opened for me over the years, after every show, you have the nicest, most sweetest, most supportive fans, and they always say that to me. And I really couldn't agree more. I mean, they're just such good people, and I think I've been able to grow my social account so much because I'm very active. For me,
Right.
the best part of playing music for me is the connection that you make with people. And I never understood these artists that don't answer their messages or respond to their comments. I literally probably spend at least 3 hours a day responding to comments and messages on my pages. And obviously it gets to a point, there are thousands. I had a video reach 1 million views this past week, which was so exciting for me on Facebook. And obviously you can't get to every comment, but I read them. Maybe I can't respond to
Yeah.
everyone, and for me, seeing those comments like, wow, this song really made my day, or thank you, the live streams, especially during the pandemic, thank you for not making me feel so alone every Wednesday. I mean, that's the stuff that can make me
Right.
cry right now. And that's why I make music.
Oh.
So why would I
Mhm.
not want to be such a big part of that with them?
Right. Exactly. So, if talking about new followers, new fans, where can you be found on social media? Because that's
And
the
thank
big
you for
thing now.
my website is nice right here. JessicaLynnMusic.org is my website, and that has links to everything. Or if you just Google Jessica Lynn, you can find me. But on
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram at Jessica Lynn Music. And YouTube,
Okay.
we have a lot of clips from, well, one, we have a lot of music videos on there, as
Hmm.
well as a lot of clips from the television specials and a ton of content. And I hope you guys will follow me. I'd love to meet you.
Well, that's awesome. And then, of course, they can go there and also find out tour dates and when the new music's coming out and all that stuff. So that's a great way to find all that stuff out. So looks like we froze up again. I don't know what's going on, but
No, you're back.
Jessica. Okay, well, I don't. I'm not seeing any movement on my end, but anyway.
I see you. What's very odd though is the orientation on your camera just changed. Like I wouldn't say, maybe not orientation, the frame. So you went to a square from 16 by 9, which is very odd. Oh, there you go. You left. We held on for a moment or two. I don't know if you're going to come back. I don't know, everybody, if he'll come back. So I guess I should wrap up the show here by saying thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for bearing through the tech issues. These things happen. It's all part of it. And it keeps it interesting, right? That's what we need. So thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it so much. This was so much fun. A lot of questions I hadn't been asked before. And what a nice way to spend a Monday. So I hope you all are well. And take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.